order for November 6th, 2019. I'd ask everybody to please bow their heads for a moment of silence. Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, advertising a notice in the Star Gazette and the Express Times by posting a copy on a bulletin board in the municipal building. Roll call, please.
Councilman Valcarro.
Here.
Councilman Polito.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
Council President Pryor.
Here.
Mayor Nuke.
Here. Need a motion to come out of executive session?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Katrina?
We were in executive session for approximately 1 hour. The topics of discussion are as discussed listed on your agenda 1 through 6. And there was one additional one regarding a personnel matter. The minutes from executive session will be available at such time as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Thank you.
I do need to, if you have a copy of the executive session, the surplus policy will be discussed in public session, so.
Yes, thank you.
Do you have a public comment on agenda items only? Seeing none, we'll move into old business. Number 1 are the minutes of the executive and regular session for October 2nd, 2019. If we've all had a chance to take a look at them, are there any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll need a motion.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Nuke.
Yes. Number 2 is ordinance number 19-16. It's the second reading and public hearing to amend, revise, or supplement Chapter 27, Fire Department, Article 2, Election of Officers, Section 5, Selection of Nominees and Election of Officers of the Code for the Township of Lopatcong to require all line officers of the Fire Department to be residents of Lopatcong Township. Can I have a motion to open it up to the public?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Folks, questions, comments on number 2? Seeing none, motion to close? Motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to pass.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Nuke.
Yes. Number 3 is to approve a quote submitted by Harmony Garage to fix the fire chief's Durango in the amount of $1,320.89.
I will make that motion.
Have a second? Second.
Councilman Valcarro.
Yes.
Councilman Polito.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
Council President Pryor.
Yes.
Mayor Nuke.
Yes. Under new business, ordinance number 19-17, it's the first reading to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 199 entitled Stormwater Management as part of the re-examination of the Lopatcong Master Plan Report adopted by the Lopatcong Township Planning Board on October 23rd, 2019, in conformance with the Highlands Water Protection and Planning Act.
I'd ask that Paul just take a minute and explain this, please.
Paul?
This particular amendment is being, I guess, promulgated due to some work that we did with the Highlands, and it has to do with it started with the prime groundwater recharge areas, where the Highlands Council had mapped a lot of areas in the township being prime groundwater recharge areas, including a number in developable areas of the municipality. The township ended up getting together with the Highlands Council, and those areas were rearranged, but as part of that particular process, the township was requested to re-examine their stormwater plan and also amend their stormwater ordinance. So George and his office took the lead and prepared both of those documents, and this is really a culmination of George's work right now, the amendment to the stormwater ordinance. And George did supply a copy of that ordinance for me to review when he was working on it, and I didn't have any objections to what he was doing. So that's really the history of this whole thing.
And as I recall, the impact on the town is relatively light, doesn't really affect the sewer service area, the properties in the sewer service area, and we're required to do this as part of our conformance with the Highlands.
Correct. And the rearranged prime groundwater recharge areas are generally in the Highlands Preservation Area or open space lots where it's not going to affect developability in the township.
With that explanation, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Nucci?
Yes. Number 2, which you don't have on your agenda, will be our surplus policy, which was taken out of our executive session, so. Kim, you want to give us an explanation of what we're doing there?
Yep. Last meeting, we discussed the best practices, and one of the questions asked if the township had a written surplus policy. And of course, we answered no, so this is in response to that question. I wanted to formalize a policy. We verbally go through it at budget time, but this actually puts it into writing. But it's a draft, and I know that there's been discussions about how much the township should hold in their fund balance.
I can comment since I think I was probably one of the first to go through it. They generally, surplus is money that's held in reserve. And it's an important component of your financial picture. We send out taxes quarterly, but we pay our bills throughout the year, so you have to have sufficient cash flow to cover your bills while you're waiting for tax money to come in. If somebody shorts you on the taxes, you still have to pay your bills. We collect money on behalf of the Board of Ed, and whether we collect that or not, we still have to send it to the Board of Ed. We're subject to different black swans, they used to call them, I guess. It was tax appeals that we haven't planned on, or we're subject to sinkholes. You can have a $100,000 emergency overnight. So your reserve covers that. Various authorities offer opinions. I've seen it as little as 1 month or 2 months. So that goes, I guess, from 8 to 16% in a fraction. It was my proposal, we set a floor at 10, and I'll explain why. When we went for our refinancing, that's what we committed to at the time, and we actually got our bond rating upgraded, paid a lower rate. And I think it would be problematic to backtrack on that. That would be 10%, that's about 1.2 months worth of reserve. If you feel you want to establish a range, I don't know, I'd say 12%, usually 10 to 12, I think that's reasonable. If you set it for 2 months, that's probably money we could put to use instead of just holding it in reserve. We've done this year with about 10%, maybe a little more. It seemed to work out pretty well. So that would be my proposal for the policy. Kim's prepared a resolution. I don't know if it meets all your criteria for Katrina for...
It does. I mean, I would change the formatting a little bit, but it does.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to introduce...
So I don't know if you
item,
want
we
to
could-
clean it up and we'll put it on the agenda for next month. How's
Whatever,
that
if you-
sound
that's
to
fine.
everybody?
Yeah, if you wanted to do it tonight, we could clean it up after. that,
I'm
but if you
open.
wanna wait,
I
it's
don't know,
not
how's
urgent,
everybody
do it.
else feel about the reserve?
It's just a resolution, so you don't need 2 meetings, so it's not like it can't carry over into the next year. So.
Oh, I mean, if everybody's okay on the upper and lower limits, why don't we get it done? So I would make the motion to adopt a reserve policy with a floor of 10%, and a cap of 12%.
I'll second it.
Okay, Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Nucci?
Yes. Number 3, which you also don't have, Beth, you want to discuss the towing contract?
Yes, so the township, has a need for towing services, and We are in the middle of a 3-year contract right now. I think we're just 1 year into it. And our heavy-duty tower sent us a letter that they can no longer provide that service to us. So I have 2 other operators, Superior Towing and Stu's Auto Body, that can step up to the plate and provide those services while we go out for the official RFP again, just for that. And Katrina, would I just do it for the time period that we have left, so it stays consistent, you know, with our
Yeah, how
term?
much is left?
2 years.
What you mean what you would go out to bid for?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought you meant the temporary appointment.
Yeah.
No, the temporary appointment, what she's asking tonight is just temporarily appoint them until she can formally go out to bid and make it official.
And make it
Because you need to have someone in place. Someone could break down right now and they need someone. And yeah, I think you could do it for,
Just for the term that's left.
I'm getting a little confused here. How long is it gonna take us to go out and procure?
Well, I have to put a notice in the paper that runs for the notice doesn't run for 75 days, but the time frame runs for 75 days. And then they would, you know, have that time frame to respond to me, and then if they meet all the criteria, then it's a resolution that's passed to hire one.
We
Early
actually have a period to consider the award, right?
Mhm.
So, the person who's in place, we're operating under the existing contract until this other one can get done?
Yeah, we set the fees, so they can't charge, you know, anything. more.
so the company that we chose under the existing contract is no longer.
Right, that's
So there's
correct.
no one. So you would
Right.
appoint these people temporarily under the same terms until you can officially follow the procedure. that you-
You're appointing
And we
both
do
of
that
them?
unilaterally,
Yes.
or they have
Which I
to
want
agree
to
to
be
that?
fair. I don't want to say
Okay, so-
one or the other.
Right.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to agree,
Yeah.
but I think they
They've
want,
agreed
they
already?
want
Yeah.
to do the
To do that?
service, so yeah. I
Okay.
think that'll
Company
be
that,
best.
company that currently has it, they're out of business?
They're just, it's H&K Auto Body, and they just don't provide the heavy-duty towing anymore. They do light towing, but they won't provide that service. And I don't know for what reason.
Okay.
They just backed down.
And they're gonna be, the new contractor or the temporary is gonna be charging the same price?
Yeah, we set the fees in our
Okay.
ordinance.
And I missed that last part. It's H&Ks we're extending, or?
No.
No, they're the ones that backed
They're
out.
backing
So
out.
we have Stu's Auto Body and Superior Towing. We will use, you know, those 2 until we get someone.
What do we alternate, or see who's
Yeah.
available, or?
Yeah, it would be whoever.
Yeah.
Police
Call them.
usually call them, you
Mhm.
know, so.
It's
So I need
only
a
because
motion.
there's this very official procedure on how to formally appoint a new person, and you just don't have anyone in
Yeah.
place. So you're just kind of making a temporary appointment until you can follow the law.
So, okay,
Do a motion?
motion.
I'll say.
Who's the second?
Billy?
Okay. Okay, Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Miki?
Yes. Next is the consent agenda. Is there anything that anyone wants pulled out of the consent agenda? Seeing or hearing none, can I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Valcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor Miki?
Yes. Council reports, Mr. Polito?
Thank you. I just want to say I look forward to another term of serving the community.
That's it?
That's it.
All right.
Bill Carroll.
No reports other than DPW's around picking leaves up. You'll be doing this how long? Until the first snowfall, right?
Middle, usually middle to the end of it.
Okay. All right. Mr. Wright?
The only thing I wanted to do is thank the police chief. Had a few calls from some residents up on the Upper Belvedere Road. They like what's going on with the patrol car up there in the morning with the lights. Cars are slowing down. A lot less tractor trailers, they're saying, so. But them being there, it's working real well, so I want to thank you on that. And the other thing, also I'm quite happy to win the election again, even though the paper has the numbers wrong. I did win. That's it, so, thank you. That's it.
Mr. Pryor?
Just on behalf of the Finance Committee, I think this year will be right on schedule with the budget. Probably even earlier, early next year, we probably should offer the budget for approval, right?
Mhm.
And this is a year we do self-approval? We don't have to go down to,
Well, we should have been doing self-approval every 3 years, but since the past, the Division of Local Government Services has not granted us permission to do that.
okay, so it's all
every
contingent on
year-
them then?
Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
every year, pretty much, we're going for review.
But I'm confident the budget will be in better shape this year than, well, I'll put it this way, I think we get more efficient at it every year, and under our new CFO, I think we're in pretty good shape headed in the next year.
That's it? You're good?
That's it.
Okay, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Polito and Mr. Wright on their reelection. One of the nice things as mayor is that we don't have a down period where we have some people that may be getting out the end of the year and then have to catch up with some new people. So it's always nice. As you know, I sat up here for 12 years on a council, and it was great that we just kept rolling the way we did. I think it brings some continuity. We have a good council up here now. So I'm looking forward to at least another year with you guys, because I would be up next year. So my congratulations to you and to Kim. I don't think, sometimes we, on a daily basis, we come in and we see people and we just leave. Well, I had a discussion with Kim today. Obviously, she's done a fabulous job for us. She's on top of things now. I'm very confident as to where our finances are headed. Mr. Pryor and I had a discussion with her this afternoon. So I think the people of this township should be pleased. We're getting some stuff done. We're bringing our debt down. We've got a little more in surplus, so we're heading in the right direction. And as I said, I've been doing this a long time. We have a lot of money to spend, or things to spend money on. We don't have a lot of money to spend, but we do. The roads are just, yeah, so could I. I mean, it's just amazing to me the amount of road money that we're going to need. So, and of course, your fire departments, your emergency squads, your DPWs, they all need equipment, and we've taken care of some of that with Brian too, and also our police chief is here. I've told him I'd like to buy 2 new cars every year for as long as he feels we need it. We are the 3rd largest municipality in Warren County, and we have to act as such. I, for one, did not know that we were the 3rd. I would have never thought we were the 3rd largest, but we are, as far as the amount of people, and certainly with what's going on out here off of Baltimore Street, we're gonna be even larger. So I think we've handled the growth. We've been through a storm. We've had the problem with the tax office. We continue to have some problems there. They're less and less every month. But, and kudos again to Kim and all the people in the office that helped. Because Kim didn't ask for this her first year here, and I didn't either. So we're in some good shape. So again, as Mr. Valcaro said, the leaves are being picked up. I know mine have been picked up twice already. I hope that's not a favor, but I did notice that my rather long pile was gone today. So it's a good time of year. It's a great time to be sitting up here. I think we're all heading in the right direction. So with that, Paul, what do you got?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to run down with the council and the public where we're at with a number of projects. I'm going to start off with an easy one, the Baltimore Street Improvement Project, which we completed from a construction perspective several months ago. We were able to successfully close out that project with the Department of Transportation. And several weeks ago, we did receive our last 25% of the grant award on that, which is $45,000. So that job is completely done at this point, so which is great. On the Sallyport project, I'm happy to report that all the documents are done and that project is advertised for public bid. It'll be in the paper this week. The bids will be received and opened on December 12th. There's going to be a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on the 26th of November. So again, we're moving forward with that project. Hopefully our bids are good, the ones that we receive on the 12th of December. On the TAP grant sidewalk project, just have a few things to report there. The plans were submitted to Warren County Engineers Office several weeks ago. Haven't received any comments back from them, but hopefully we will get some comments from them shortly. I'll be calling them to remind them of my submission and to follow up on when they'll get their reviews done. On the Warren County Soil Conservation District, we did submit in September to the district, and I'm expecting that we're going to receive an approval next Wednesday from the district when they have their monthly meeting. And then the DOT has reviewed our plans for this project, and I'm actually meeting with the DOT tomorrow to review their initial review on the plans. So there is some movement on that project. I think the goal is still to try to build that project in 2020 at this point. With respect to the DOT, and I know I get questions from time to time on this, what's going on with the grant applications that were filed back in July. That is something that I will review when I'm at the local aid office tomorrow, and I'll send an email to everybody and report where we're at. It was my understanding that the department was going to make decisions on the grant applications in November, and the whole purpose of moving the grant program up 3 months was to have the decisions made before the end of the year, so municipalities could plan for that from a budget perspective, because they're right at the end of the year, moving into their new calendar year. So I'll let you know where they're at as far as the grant awards go. On the Red School Lane drainage and sewer repair project, the work is moving along well right now, and we anticipate by the end of next week, by the 15th of December, that work will be completed. I do not anticipate we're going to be able to move into the milling and paving, and my goal is going to be to get that work done in April. I'm going to be targeting the week that school will be out for the spring recess to do that. We'll have a little bit of work here. We'll have to adopt a resolution to hire the co-op contractor to do that work over the winter or March.
Well, I would agree in full with you to try and get it done while school's not in session.
Right.
I wouldn't want that to be a point of holding it up.
Correct.
It's just, we'll work around it somehow. Sorry, Chief. So.
Continuing on Scenic Ridge, we had a lot of work done in Scenic Ridge over the last 4 to 6 weeks. And Jacob Way, which is the most populated street in that development, is now paved, as well as a portion of the entry road, Mountain View Drive at this point. The developer has submitted a request for the municipality to accept those roadways. There are certain administrative things that have to be done by the developer first. They have to update their as-built plan, and we have to review and approve that as-built plan, and there has to be a maintenance bond posted with the municipality. So until that happens, I'm not going to be advising you to accept that street. If that gets resolved this month, then we'll have something in the way of a resolution for your next meeting in December. If it doesn't happen by then, it will be January. But they did do a lot of work and did pave some roadways there, which is a good thing for the residents at this point. Any questions on that? On Scotts Mountain Estates, I just want to advise you that we were a recipient of complaints from the county Department of Public Works and the engineering department about runoff that was affecting several drainage structures that the county owns on Liberty Road, and the county thinking that it had to do with Scotts Mountain Estates, which did trigger a review of some of the drainage facilities in Scotts Mountain Estates, and we're about to issue a report to you on that. And while I think the owners of the detention basins in that development haven't done what they were supposed to in accordance with some legal agreements that were recorded, I don't think that's the cause of some of the county problems. There's a tremendous drainage area, or drainage areas going to Liberty Road, and some of those areas are completely outside of Scotts Mountain Estates. And I just think, you have a tremendous drainage area. It's still very wet out there, and the county has undersized drainage facilities that bring water from one side of Liberty Road to the other. So I really think that's the problem. But we are going to have to make contact with the residents that own these stormwater facilities in Scotts Mountain Estates. And I think we also need to make some contact with Warren Paving over there, because I think there is a storm sewer pipe, and I'm going to have to meet with Brian in the field. Brian's not listening, but there is a pipe that's half full with stone right now, immediately downstream of Warren paving. And I think there's been runoff that has carried material into a storm sewer line that's clogging that line. So those are going to be some of the actions that come out of this report. But I just wanted to advise you why we did this report, some of the county complaints that we had, and we're going to report back to the county what our findings were as well. And then just the last item, back in 2018, we had a very aggressive paving program to try to catch up. And I believe there were 12 roads in that program, and 11 of those roads have been completed right now. The only roadway that wasn't addressed was South Fifth Street between Route 22 and Baltimore Street. That is a roadway that has a very unusual cross-section. It has also been built up and is affecting a commercial structure on the west side of the road. So we went out and we did some topographic survey work, and we've done some preliminary designs to see how we would reconstruct that roadway and how we would put curbing on the roadway to protect the building. So we have a rough plan at this point, but that plan is going to cost the municipality $200,000 to $225,000 to actually do that roadway right, I think. And I wanted to let you know that if we were to just to mill it and pave it using the co-op, it's going to be about $40,000 to $50,000. So I'm not asking the council to make a decision tonight, but I guess we're in budget season for next year, and I know we're looking at some roadways to address. And I guess we're going to need to look at that particular roadway and how we're going to treat it. There's quite a disparity between a mill and overlay and a reconstruction scenario there. So I want to report where we're at with that and what your options are. It's really one end of the spectrum or the other at this point.
My bias is towards mill and overlay whenever possible, particularly in an area like that. So we'll discuss it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we have needs obviously in other areas.
We're trying to get the biggest bang for the buck here. And
the plaza roads are streets that really need work per a study I did earlier this year. So
We have got to get up to Lowe's Hollow too. We just have to.
And Lowe's Hollow's taking a beating this year.
Fox Farm.
Yeah,
That's another one, so.
Yep.
As much as I'd like to do the Cadillac there, because there's a lot of traffic that goes to Speedway and the diner, and there's some residents there, and you have a couple businesses, I just don't know that we're gonna be able to afford it.
Hopefully we can target some of these streets next year.
Oh, yeah, yeah, we're gonna just keep going, as I said earlier, we
to.
can't stop. We're gonna need to keep doing it. One thing that I did forget that I'd like to acknowledge is the police department and the fire departments, we had a very safe Halloween. And it was a nice time. We had to cancel it Thursday. There was some discussion there, but I think we did the right thing. So my thanks to the police and fire. Chief, you have anything to add to your report?
One quick announcement.
Yep, sure.
No, I think we're just good. On Saturday, we're going to be participating in a charity event in Washington Township. And I just wanted to make the announcement, if anybody has some free time, it's for a great cause, but it's going to be a flag football game. Lopatcong, Powhatan Township, and Greenwich Township will be playing against Washington Township. So could be entertaining at the same time, hopefully no injuries.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have arrangements for a squad?
There is arrangements there.
Okay.
So, but it's for a great cause. The cause is for Grayson Schmalz. He's a 5-year-old boy, former resident of Lopatcong Township, and he's battling cancer. And he's been doing that like for the past year. He's winning the fight, so he's doing a great job. But this is another cause in our efforts to support the family and him. He's now a resident over in Greenwich Township, but doing very well. So 7:30 over at Warren Hills Stadium on Saturday.
7:30 in the morning?
In the evening.
Oh.
There's a couple flyers. Absolutely. And if anybody else care to take a look, there's a couple flyers up here. But Mayor, Council, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I need a motion to approve department reports.
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of bills? Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Polito?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Fryer?
Yes.
Mayor Menounos?
Yes. Folks, questions, comments? Mr. Betts?
My name is John Betts. I live over at Brinkley Gardens at 225 Red School Lane, apartment Y14. I got a number of things. Let's see. The 10 to 12% reserve, what's the nominal amount of that approximately?
Well, we have about a $9 million budget this year,
Yes.
so, you know, in excess of 900,000.
All right, okay. Mayor, have you had any success on forming a rent leveling board?
Filling the positions?
Yes.
We have not.
Okay. Will you continue trying to do so?
Absolutely.
Okay. The other thing is, with the budget season coming up, and for the last few years, I've noticed something which I don't know what it's called, but will there be forwarding money into next year? Will that possibly occur as it has in the past, where the auditor or the man who makes the budget forwards money into the next year, carries
You're
forward
talking about surplus or?
surplus? Yes, I'm gonna
Plus or appropriation reserves.
probably appropriation reserves.
That does carry, you have 2 years to spend.
That does carry,
Yes.
okay. And then let's see, you answered the Red School Lane question I had already, and the only other one I have is to remind everybody that the scams are still going on, where we have numerous police organizations, that say they're for the police but are not for the police, where they're trying to raise money. We have other scams having to do with servicemen, and then we have, of course, all the technology scams and insurance scams and all that going on too. So it's something that's running rampant.
Yeah, John, just yesterday, I got a call from Social Security. They said they had a problem, but what I want to mention is Jim Roncaroni from the prosecutor's office. You
Yes.
had him once. We had him at our development, the clubhouse, and he takes about 45 minutes and he goes over all the scams.
Yes.
And if anybody has a community group or a club or whatever, that's what he does. You just reach out, ask for Sergeant, I guess he's Sergeant Roncaroni. He'll be glad to schedule an evening, and it's very informative.
Is he in the prosecutor's office down? Is he at the
That's right, I
prosecutor?
believe, isn't he, Jim Roncaroni?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's part of his job. He gives this talk as part of his
Okay.
job. And he's pretty good. He keeps it interesting and
that
entertaining.
That means I can deal with possibly bringing him back to our.
Yeah, we had a good group. We had probably 30 people. I know you had
It's
if you can do a little promotion, it's worth it for people to go hear him.
Yeah, I think I will think about that for next year again myself,
Yeah.
for the organization over there. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Jim, please try to get that
We've been trying. As you know, that's
Yes,
a
I
tough
do.
position. It's a lot of work.
Yes, I know,
So,
and it's volunteer.
and it's volunteer.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you, guys.
Anyone else? Sir?
Mayor, Councilman, my name is Fred Hamlin. I live at 1109 Belvedere Road. It's right in front of Lopatcong Pool. After listening to tonight, what I have to bring is very small potatoes. But you've got an ordinance that prevents dogs up in the park back there. And for years, I've been watching people run their dogs. I've watched events up there, people bring their dogs. Police have the police have cruised through, no attempt to talk to people. Mr. Mayor, you and I were at an event this summer along with 2 other township employees. Nobody attempted to talk to a lady who brought a, medium-sized poodle in. I don't own a dog, so I've got no real issue in this, except we have an ordinance that we don't enforce. My question is, or what I would propose, is you can seriously consider getting rid of it. People say, well, it's fecal matter in the athletic fields. Well, that's not all dogs, not all domestic dogs. We got coyotes running. I saw one 3 weeks ago, roughly. So I'm not sure why the ordinance is in place. We're not enforcing it. What did I say? So I leave that with you. I really, as I said, I have no dog in the race here. Pardon the pun, but.
Yeah, you're correct, sir. That ordinance is in place. It's been in place many years,
Yeah.
and of late, it's not enforced. That particular ordinance forbids dogs in the park.
I've never seen it enforced.
There's actually a second provision of the ordinance. Dogs are not permitted to run free. They have to be on a leash. We'll have to revisit it. I mean, on the other hand, there are a ton of dog owners in town, and
I understand that, and I've seen people take.
But you're correct. It's
turn them loose.
rarely enforced.
Well, if we're not going to enforce an ordinance, any ordinance, why have it?
Yeah, I don't argue with
Got
you.
one, that's my issue. I've taken a lot of your time. Thank you very much.
That's what we're here
We'll
for.
talk about it.
Yes, sir?
I'm John Simonoff, Plaza Road, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I was here 2 meetings ago, and I was requesting if we can get sewage out in our area, storm drains, and before this road is to be resurfaced. And I was wondering if there was any update to that request.
No, there is not. For us to run sewers out there would be highly expensive.
We said you had a lot of money.
Township. Said I could spend a lot of money is what I said. So no, I'll be flat out with you. I can't speak for the other 4 guys up here, but we just don't have the money for it. We also have some people over on, what's the small one over here? Off of Belvedere Road, between Belvedere.
Yeah,
Road.
I don't know the name of the street. It goes from Red School.
The name of the street from Red School Lane to over to Belvedere, that paper street, Smith Street. Smith? Yeah. It's just, I hear you. It would be great. I have sewer. I don't have the issues with a septic or wells or any of that other stuff. I won't tell you that we won't look at it, but I don't know how we could possibly appropriate that kind of money that we would need to do that.
Well, that would be nice. I mean, I think the road is supposed to be scheduled for.
To get it done before the road, sure, absolutely. It would be, that would be the proper thing to do, would be to get it done and then do the road. It would be very foolish to do the road and then decide we're gonna put sewers in. I would say the reason we haven't entertained it is because of the cost. And how many residents are we actually talking about back there?
Pardon me?
There's
How
about
many-
3 blocks.
About 3 blocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
The
that,
original 3 blocks.
I know there are people that have sewer out there.
That's the original. 3
well,
blocks.
the sewer to go-
Which is all,
Right,
they were put into the system and then they never incorporated our 3 blocks, which is the oldest. And then they used the excuse that, Phillipsburg was full. And then they revamped the sewer system.
yeah.
So maybe you could budget in the future for it.
The mayor just.
Because our septics are old and they're gonna start failing.
Yeah.
And we'd rather invest in
That's gonna be
sewers
$25,000 or
than
$30,000.
$30,000 for a septic.
Yep, I'm well aware.
There's got to be something to do out there, because there's a lot of homes. Septics are going to be something in the past. We've got the sewers. I mean, you've got the sewage capacity right now.
Paul, you gonna
And
say
you have to
something?
remember that our properties are very small. The 3 blocks I'm talking about, the houses are very close together. It's not like the newer homes that they're putting up where they're on 3 acres. Our homes are not on, they're on, a half acre, if that.
Well, most where we're at is almost a half an acre.
Yeah.
In the section that we're at.
You're talking about James
Lower-
Plaza, Albert, all those,
Well, yeah, Plaza, Albert,
Plaza, the other
James,
plaza.
they're all about a half an acre in, just about a half an acre. And when you go past down to that new development, James, they're 1, 2, and 3 acres.
How many homes total in those 3 blocks?
There's 3 blocks, let me see, 1,
Because we're talking about, if you guys are gonna split the cost of installing the sewer, let's see.
And they may be willing to do that if they're, it's either that or put a new septic system in, so.
Yeah, you gotta weigh out the costs. But
Yeah,
you gotta divvy it up amongst the rest of the residents and see if they're in agreement with you.
Well,
If
we
they
don't
want
even know
sewer.
what the cost will be.
we don't
No,
know.
we don't know
Right,
exactly,
right.
but.
That we
We're
can,
talking, I mean, the sewer connection is like,
2,000. It's 2,000 just to connect to the source. I believe that's still our rate, if I'm not mistaken.
but how much to get the sewer to it?
Exactly, there's where we're gonna.
Well, what I think what's gonna happen from where Meadowview is, it slopes to the north. So if you're gonna sewer that neighborhood, the sewer lines are gonna run south to north, and you're gonna have to build a pumping station. I believe that's my recollection of the topo in that area.
Yeah.
Everything runs down toward Bellevue Road.
Correct.
So you're gonna have collection lines with service lines to each one of the houses, but you're gonna have to build a pumping station and have a force main run it back to the Meadowview development. And that's gonna be expensive. I don't know where we would put that pumping station. You typically need at least an easement, if not a piece of property to
Well, I
do
don't know
that.
how big, how far if you're talking that it's sloping down past us 3 blocks, that's the new development that they just installed, or, all the houses went up. So that 3 block that we're talking about is on basically level property right where Jason's house is. So, in those homes there's probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 30 homes, something like that.
I think it's still a pumping station, whether you take a piece of the neighborhood or the entire neighborhood. What I was gonna say before, Mayor, is that the township has what's known as a wastewater management plan.
Yep.
And within that plan, there's a map called a future sewer service area map. And it's my recollection that this neighborhood is not envisioned by the township to be sewered. It's outside the future sewer service area. So that would be the first thing.
Well, that was before as far as I remember, is that when they were installing it, they said that the P-Bird was Phillipsburg was over
At that time,
capacity.
they probably were.
And
That's
so
not-
far, they upgraded that.
Yeah.
Well, if we're on the negative list, can we get put on the positive list?
The township would have to amend the wastewater management plan and get that amendment approved by the state of New Jersey, and the Highlands Council would receive a copy of that. It would be referred to them, and they would weigh in, and they also have to approve that. So it's not an automatic process.
Okay, so is this part of the thing that you guys just voted on for the Highlands thing? Is this
No.
Highland Water
No.
Protection Plan? Okay.
I'm going to try and be as open about this as I can, and I haven't spoken to the rest of the council, I'm speaking really as an individual councilman. Getting the wastewater management plan amended is not the end of the world. Under the right circumstances, everything lines up, we can accomplish it. But we operate here what we call a sewer utility. Those funds are segregated from the township funds that come from taxes. It's a self-supporting utility, so the revenues we derive from sewers go into the utility and they pay all the utility bills. We not only have debt service, we have operating expenses, and we pay Phillipsburg a fee for each gallon that we send to Phillipsburg. I don't think we've ever extended a sewer to an individual home under a township project in decades. The original system went in the 60s.
67.
And every extension since then has been paid for by a developer. So we would have to look at the project and ensure that you're not subsidized by the other users. It would be self-supporting. And there's ways to do that. We look at the future revenues and the connection fees. There may even be an opportunity for assessment. But we would have to look at that to get the whole picture. And I think the same thing applies to Smith Street too. That would be a very, very expensive project for 3 homes. If we have to do a pump station for your 30 homes, that becomes a very, very expensive project. And the way you look at these is, when the 30 homes hook up, will they support the cost of that extension and the O&M and the cost of the money that goes to the money that it costs to send waste to Phillipsburg. So it's essentially a question of feasibility. And, I mean, I think, I'm proposing we should look at that, but that's no promise that you get, sewers. If the feasibility is, not right, the utility cannot subsidize people. Did that make sense to you?
No, I understand what you're saying, it's just that, I say is, as a resident out there in the sewage, all those homes are out there are 40 years plus, which means that septic's gonna fail. Okay, and you're talking.
And eventually, if you're in a home long enough, you're gonna have to replace your septic system.
Right.
And what happens if we can't?
Well,
Saying.
I don't know, there's always those situations, and we don't know if we're there.
Do you have a plan if our wells go bad? Because of all this development? I mean,
Yeah, again, all I can say at this point is we'd have to look at the feasibility, and we don't know where we are until we do that.
So we can at least do that.
Pardon me?
We can at least do that.
That's what I'm proposing. I think we should look at that.
Okay.
it'd be helpful to know.
How long would that take her?
We gotta figure out where the connection point is and then do a quick sketch and come up with a budget.
Connection point being is
And
where
run the numbers.
it ends right now?
Pardon me?
Connection point means where
you discharge. You're gonna connect to a point in the existing system.
Right. Well, I'm just saying it
We gotta
ends.
figure out where that is and what it's gonna cost to get there.
Right now, I know it ends right at Meadowview.
Yeah, but the grade may not be right. Waste goes downhill,
It
right?
goes downhill.
So if you
Well,
got a pump, it's
The pumping station.
more expensive.
Well, what I'm saying is, from from living there, through our old section of 3 of those 30 homes or so, it's pretty level where we're at right now. Once you get past our development there, it tends to slope down towards Harmony side. Okay, so, with that being said, I'd like to see what you come up with.
Okay.
And I'll just keep
All
on
we can
coming
do
here
is
to
run the
find out.
numbers and tell you what the situation is, and then we maybe look for the best way to finance it. Maybe we can get some grant money, I don't know. It's tougher these days, but,
You can certainly look at it for you.
we can certainly go as far as the feasibility.
Okay.
Do you guys ever, like, if our road is gonna get dug up, because basically we're almost above the curbs for the asphalt, if you take it down, would you ever consider just putting in the piping, since the road's gonna be dug up, and not connect, but just have some of it there in case?
It's called dry sewers, but then you're still gonna have to invest. Who's gonna pay for that? You're gonna have the existing users
Yeah.
paying for a dry sewer that who knows when they get hooked up.
Okay, I was just trying to save money.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
because, right
And
now,
that makes sense.
the way it is right
Right.
now,
Paved the road, then dig it up 2 years later.
Exactly.
right now, the crown of the road is higher than the curb height. So,
Yeah, well, we've already gotten a preliminary price for that whole area out there, about 450,000.
Right.
Right, so who wants to dig that up at 450,000? Again,
well,
that's just,
I guess the problem coming here is, if they're gonna do that extra work, who's gonna pay for it and all that?
Yeah, again, that's not tax money, the sewer. It comes from the sewer utility, and the way the sewer utility works is we figure out our cost for the year, we divide by the number of units, and each person that's hooked up to the sewer, each unit pays their fair share. So, it's not like that's generating big surpluses. When we talk surplus, we're talking about the municipal surplus. Utility is a self-supporting utility.
Okay.
Or the developer.
Or, yeah, when a developer comes
Yeah.
in, he wants sewers and he pays for them. Yeah,
It's too bad you couldn't have gotten all 3 blocks in Meadowview.
I give an example, Berry Plastics on Strikers, they crossed the highway, they put in a gravity sewer on Strikers, and they connected to an existing line that goes on Walmart Street. That was a big project, and they paid for that. We didn't pay for it.
Expensive?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Very expensive.
Okay.
Very.
All right, so you're gonna do a study.
Well, yeah, we can take a look at the feasibility. of this.
I'm gonna make a motion when this is over that we do feasibility.
That's fine.
And see what it says.
And then it's possible we could even get a grant, maybe?
Well, let's see what the study says. Grants are not,
No?
for collection systems, they're not that easy to get these days. We happened to get a farmer's home grant when was it farmer's home or what do they call it today?
USDA.
USDA. I don't want to say the money's not out there, but it's laborious and competitive.
Well, we are sure appreciate it if that grant money could become available to fix our problem.
Let's see what we're looking at first, all right?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, John?
I don't want to be negative about this particular instance. I understand their situation. But in the same respect, this is a huge amount of money coming out of apartment complexes in our community, because the number of units that are within smaller square foot, smaller acreage of properties collect more money than the number of houses which would go on that same acreage of property. So it is like an expenditure to tenants too. See
No,
that?
we understand. That's what.
Yeah,
It's like saying you don't pay taxes, you do through your rent.
Yeah, you know.
So I understand all that, but I think we owe these people at least the,
Yes, you do. And I
feasibility.
remember my past when there were houses out in the rural area. At the time it was rural, now it's suburban, but where I lived when I was a kid and things going on. So I just want to keep that into consideration too.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
John.
Thanks, Joe.
Brian?
Really need kind of everybody's help a little bit here. Out on Timberwick, Scotts Mountain, all right, goes out to Los Hollow. Paul, I don't know if you remember, but we talked about the bridge that's there. All right, the sidewalks are approximately 5 to 8 inches below that bridge now. I got people complaining about it. They're not our sidewalks, all right? County made a statement to me back that it's not their bridge. Well, there's stickers underneath the bridge. Where do I go? What do I do?
I have the paperwork on that. I just need to revisit the ownership issue.
Okay. All right, because I got residents coming to me worrying about tripping and falling and stuff. And,
This is a sidewalk, obviously right along the bridge?
yeah, it touches to the bridge abutment.
My recollection is that is a county drainage structure,
It is.
but I need to confirm that for
I
you.
believe it was on the right-hand side down under, up on the top, you'll see a sticker that says everything in the number. But when I took it up to the county, they say it doesn't exist, it never got turned over. Well, then they wouldn't have their sticker on it. So, I need to do something before somebody gets hurt, is really what I'm asking. So,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions, comments?
I have one question.
Sure.
Do you know when Plaza Road is scheduled to be resurfaced?
We were actually talking about doing that next year. So, yeah. Anyway, anybody else? Seeing none? Motion to adjourn?
Well, at first I'd like to make a motion to do the feasibility study
fine.
we talked about here.
You gonna make that motion?
I'll make that.
I'll second.
Okay. Councilman Belcarro?
Yes.
Councilman Toledo?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Council President Pryor?
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Folks, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.